Hello everybody and Happy New Year. So with this channel, I am essentially starting this channel to kind of help keep myself accountable for cash budgeting, envelope stuffing, things like that. Now, I wanted to kind of go through a little bit of my current setup, what I have. I have been doing cash budgeting and stuff like that on and off for a little while now. I'd say a couple years maybe, but trying to get serious about it and really save up for some pretty big goals. So for this initial video, we're going to go through the 3 binders that we'll be mainly talking about today, and just kind of going through what each of them are for, how they're set up. Then actually the last one, there is still some setting up yet to do. So we'll get to that later. So this first one, this is essentially going to be a month ahead binder. So I reuse some of these sheets just to, help divide. But I haven't actually listed out here. I'm wanting to kind of design nicer, can't think of the term right now, but essentially the pages that go in here to mark what each thing is for. I wanted to make something a little bit nicer than this, but right now this is a setup. So the way I'm going to do this has a total of 9 different categories. So we have rent insurance, pet insurance, my phone bill, bike insurance, internet, electricity, utilities, car insurance, and then rent. And so these are the main bills that, we need to pay every month to keep the house running. The fixed bills. This is not including any debt, which that's its whole other, that's a whole other story. We'll get to that later. But so what I'm going to be doing with this one here is every week I'm going to be taking $10. I'm going to start from the back. $1 goes into rent, $1 goes into car insurance, and I'm going to work my way forward. But then, because there's only 9 categories, rent insurance is going to get 2. Now, these categories are listed from smallest down to biggest. And so we're going to work our way through kind of snowball style. So once rent insurance, as you can see, it costs a total of $14 a month. Once the renter's insurance is fully filled, then those $2 that would always be going to rent insurance will roll over to the pet insurance. So then pet insurance will actually be getting $3 a week, while the rest of them are still getting $1. And then the same with phone, bike insurance, stuff like that. And so that's how this one is set up. Like I said, I do have yet to do some sort of nicer, not headings, but I think you guys know what I mean. Something like a dashboard for each envelope. But yeah, so I'm gonna take you guys with me on that journey as we walk through, but that's what that envelope is for, or that binder. This one is going to be my savings challenge binder. Now, as we go through, actually, I do have a Ko-fi shop that I have started. I've got a couple things on there. I still have a lot of work yet that needs to go into it, but certainly check it out if you're interested. All of the savings challenges in here that are in envelopes that we'll be working on are created by me. A few of them have been listed already in my Ko-fi shop, and so if you're interested, go ahead and check them out. They're available right now as digital downloads. I am looking into the idea of offering physical items, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. So we'll get there later. But so let's take a peek. Now, what I'm also going to be trying to stuff this weekly at the same time that I stuff my 1 month ahead binder. So now how much will go into savings challenges and stuff all kind of depends on however much we can afford to put extra towards stuff like that. But yeah, so we'll see. So I have quite a few different styles here. Like I said, all of the ones in the envelopes here are created by me. And so this first one here is all about snakes. This is part of a animal themed kind of category series, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. But each icon, each snake is $20. The total is $240. So little dinosaurs. This one is in denominations of 10, and it comes out to a total of $150. And then here are birds, and each icon is $5, and it comes out to a total of $70. So then moving on, the next one that I have in here is a Valentine's Day themed dice roll. So, you know, kind of your standard, like what I'm sure you've seen with other YouTubers. You know, you roll the dice, and however much money it comes out to, you save that much. So a lot of little categories, or a lot of little spots. So we'll see kind of how much it ends up being. I'm really excited to complete this one. I'm curious as to kind of what the ballpark will be of where we might end up. But it also depends on what size dice you're using. I haven't yet painted the numbers, but this is epoxy. I've made my own dice set. I've actually made a couple of them. I don't remember where my other one's over here. Just a same thing but red. But these are epoxy dice. And so, you know, when you're doing a dice roll, you know, you can pick. Do you want to use your standard 6-sided die? Do you want to use, this is a 20-sided die, I believe. As you can see, this set didn't quite turn out great. There's a few bubbles, but this one is, I want to say, a 12-sided die. This one's a 4, but it has some interesting numbers, like this is 1, 3, and 4. This is 4, 2, and 3. So yeah, it just kind of depends on what you're doing, what you're looking for. So, you know, I think for the first time that we do the dice roll, we're just going to start with the standard 6-sided dice. But we can always, you know, if that gets too easy, we can always do like a 12-side or a 20 and go from there. And of course, the higher side of dice that you use, of course, the more money that you can end up saving with it. But then moving on, here's a Christmas themed one. So we've got some different icons. Each icon is worth its own specific amount, and it comes up to a total of $350 for this. So a fun little treat yourself one, a row of 5, 10, 15, and 20 denominations. A coffee themed one, each cup essentially represents $10, so for a total of $160. This was more of a Halloween themed one, but this one essentially, you know, again, it's another, each icon is its own amount. So the cobwebs are $5, the skulls are $10, for a total of $360. And then a self-care, and this one, by the time I get to it, you know, we'll kind of see how things have been going, and then we'll figure out how much each icon is going to be worth and figure out what that total is. So, like I said, all of these ones in the envelopes are created by me. The ones back here are not mine. I mean, they're challenges that I own, but I did not create them. I purchased them. On my Ko-fi shop, you can get the 3 animal themed ones. I can't remember if I've put the Valentine's Day one on there or not yet. And then I thought there was one more. Oh, the coffee one is on my Ko-fi. So go ahead and I'll have the link in the description if you want to take a look at that. So I'm really excited to get started with this. What I'm thinking is each month, you know, as we finish challenges from here, they'll get pulled out. They'll probably get put inside this box here, which is also going to be for any change that I have. But then at the end of the month, when I do the cash condensing, I'm also going to go through the savings challenges that I've completed in here, and then we'll decide where everything's going. Oh, and this is a little decoration piece that I had stuck in here. I make these myself. If this is something that you guys would be interested in possibly purchasing, you know, physical products of, I think it looks really cute here in the binder, but it could also look really cute on a keychain. Of course, I can do quite a few different colors. You know, let me guys know if that would be something that you'd be interested in. So, all right. So we have gone through the 1 month ahead binder, the savings challenge binder, and now we're going to talk about the sinking funds binder. So I don't really have much of anything in here yet. This right here is what we call the peanut fund. We are expecting a little baby girl in early February, and right now we're nicknaming her Peanut. And this is essentially money that just goes towards, you know, whatever furniture, stuff like that, clothes, anything that we need to pick up beforehand, and then whatever's left. And I have a whole separate fund in the bank that I don't have a placeholder for here. But then whatever's left is just gonna help with, you know, once she is here, covering things like food, diapers, wipes, you know, some of those extra things. So we're gonna go through and kind of stick a few of the main categories of what we're gonna have for sinking funds in here. Right now, we're just gonna use sticky notes, kind of like what we did with the 1 month ahead binder, to symbolize kind of what it's for, but then later on, I'll create better markers, I guess you could say, for them. So this one is the peanut fund. Now, right off the bat, I'm not going to determine like how much money is going to go into each of these. Right now, it's just going to be kind of a general fund, because it's going to be quite a while before I'm actually reaching like, oh, is this fund completed or stuff like that. The only one that I can think of off the top of my head right now that would be quickly completed would be the annual fee for my P.O. box, because that's, the last time I paid it, it was about $100. So I mean, that one wouldn't take too long, but beyond that, like, this is more of a long term. So let's see here, a couple of others that we will need. Vehicle maintenance. I don't like how that looks. So what we're just gonna do is, there we go. Let's see, fund. So this just goes towards covering any type of repairs, title and registration, anything of that nature. I know in a lot of states they require yearly inspections. In my state, that is not a requirement. So as long as you know your vehicle, as long as you know your vehicle is safe, you know, that's good enough. We don't, in my state, we aren't required to do inspections, and so it's not something that I would need to save up for. So kind of a maintenance fund. Gonna do a medical. well, it's soon to be 4 of us. So myself and my fiance, our 10-year-old son, and then baby girl that's on the way. And so obviously humans get sick, things happen. So just having some money to be set aside for that. Let's see, how many envelopes do I have? I've got 4 left. So we're gonna do pet care. Now this is, I'm not going to be using this one for like, you know, dog food or anything like that. We do have 2 dogs, a black lab named Jasper, and then an American bully named Athena. Super, super sweet girls. I may be biased, but in my opinion, they're the best dogs in the world. This is more for like if something happens and they need a vet visit. If they have a medical issue come up where they need a special food that's a lot more expensive. You know, this is not the normal anticipated, you know, like their normal dog food, that type of thing. The reason I said pet instead of dog is because we do have a fish. My son has a betta fish. And so, you know, just stuff like that. The betta fish really doesn't cost a whole lot, but you know, if something were to come up for whatever reason, you know, or if he were to want a second fish, or you know, whatever the case may be, have something in there for kind of more of those surprise pet costs. I do want to do one for like a home fund. We currently rent, but a dream of ours is to own a home, and so that's going to be another one that we're going to do. So just kind of tucking away a little bit of money here and there to be able to start the process of saving up for a home. But the main thing that we'll be doing is trying to pay off debt right now. We are going to do the P.O. box. And just to be on the safe side, we're going to cap this at 125. Like I said, last year it was 100, or it actually ended up being like 93 change or something like that. I don't remember the exact amount. It was under 100 by a little bit. We're going to go a little bit over that just because, you know, prices go up, things happen, stuff like that. And then the last one that I'm going to do here is wedding. So like I told you, you know, I also live with my fiance, and so we will at some point be planning a wedding. Something to save up for, you know, because we know that that's coming. Something we want to do. So yeah, that is the setup. Like I said, my goal is to try to be posting at least cash stuffings for the month ahead binder and then the savings challenge binder. Now where these, oh, I'm sorry, I want to post, I want to say about once a week. I'm thinking on Saturdays. It's like, then that gives me time on Friday. I can pull the money that I need out of the bank in the denominations that I need. And then we can start, you know, I can record either Friday evening, Saturday morning, you know, something like that. And then at the end of the month, we'll do some sort of cash condensing. Obviously, at the end of January, I don't expect to have a whole lot to need to cash condense, but, you know, as the months go on, potentially there may be a need for that. And so we're just going to get used to that pattern. So I do, like I said, have a Ko-fi shop. That link will be in the description. But yeah, otherwise, I look forward to seeing you guys again here in just a couple days when we do our first cash stuffing. Bye, everybody.